Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and let's begin our second Global Gab of the year. You all should have a program, or if you don't, maybe share one with a neighbor. This is a program as it stands. I just want to give, if you don't know me, I'm Mrs. Simonson. Thank you. I was just waiting for the French travelers to be. Yes, so I, besides teaching French and other things, I also try and coordinate the international program of which this program is from. So I just want to give you a little bit of a background on this, but before I do, I just want to give some gratitude, because anything like this that happens doesn't happen by itself, it happens with a lot of people. So gratitude and thanks are always important to give and shower you all with. Lots of hearts, lots of love. Two, certainly, it's coming. Okay, my peeps here in the World Language Department, thank you so much for all the support of everything that is in the international and language and culture. The administration for your support of our program and these events, the administrative assistants that help create the programs and other behind-the-scene items. To our host family, some of you are part of a host family, have hosted or will host. So we thank you very much, because a lot of this would not be possible without you. Faculty, staff, other administrative security folks as well, thank you so much. And to you guys, the welcoming students of Shore Regional. As you know, whenever you walk these halls, it feels good to feel welcomed. So for those of you that do take a moment and say hi to someone new, someone that you know is not here on a normal basis, or anyone for that matter, I really want to thank you, because that makes a difference to everyone every day. So the mission of the international program is to help you, to help our community grow our global reach. We already have a very amazing global reach, but we want to grow. That's what life is about, growing, getting bigger, getting better. So part of that is certainly we have our multilingual learners here at Shore that are speaking other languages and that are learning English. Let's give them a great shout out. Woo! Another facet of our international program is the summer abroad studies. You can do travel and service, that's CIEE. I'm not sure we don't have anyone this year, unfortunately. A couple things fell through, but hopefully next summer you'll be interested in that. But those are some of our alumni. And then another aspect of this is what you're going to be hearing from later is our sister school program. We currently have 2 sister schools, one in Italy, one in France, that you'll be hearing about, and we're working on one in Spain, hopefully for next year, we'll see. And then, of course, another aspect is our exchange students, our tuition students that come here from all over the world. We started this program 9 years ago. Next year will be our 10th year. So these are the students from years 1 and year 2. We've welcomed over 50 students to Shore during the past 9 years. Maybe if you've been here for a while, you might recognize some of these students and their amazing host families. This was last year and then this year, which is where we arrived to today. I will give a shameless plug, however. We will be having at least 10 tuition exchange students next year. Some of you are already hosting, but we're going to need more host families. They can't be here and be in our school and be in our classes and be in our clubs and our sports without you and your family. So if that's something that you think you have in your heart and in your space, then please do reach out to me, because we could use you as ambassadors. Thank you so much. So today we're arriving at our 6th exchange student for the year who had yet to give her global lab. Unfortunately, she was unavailable to do it when we had our first one earlier in the fall. So we have Marta. Let's give it up for Marta. So Marta's going to speak with you, but I just want to say, put yourself in her shoes for a minute. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who comes to this country, comes to our school, comes to another family, another class, another language, another culture, and navigates that, not for a week, not on vacation, not for a month, but for 10 months an academic student in our school. I think that deserves another round of applause. She's waiting here so patiently. All right, here you go. Marta, thank you so much for preparing this Global Gab for us today. You want to speak from here?
Okay, I don't mind. So, hi, my name is Marta. If you don't know me, I'm an exchange student from Spain, the south of Spain. I'm in junior year. I'm gonna present you my global gap. That's just the intro. Malaga. I live in Malaga. It's in the south of Spain. It's a beautiful city. Some fun facts about Malaga is one of the oldest cities in the world. We are one of the European cities that have the warmest winters. We have 300 days of sunshine in the year, and the most popular business is tourism. Other fun fact is about the south of Spain is, you can see it in my accent, we don't know how to say the S when we speak, so for me speaking English is a challenge because I know how to pronounce the S. There is some photos about Malaga. Some traditions, I just put 3. One is Semana Santa, is Easter rest here. In the south of Spain, we have a religious parade and a lot of people come. Then we have Feria, it's like a festival with horses and party. There is the famous, people dance the famous flamenco in ferias and they sing it. And they wear the flamenco dresses that everyone likes them. And then we have toros, is the bull races. Some people like them, some people hate them. I respect everyone's opinion. Then there is food. We have sardines, it's like seafood. We have porra, it's like tomato soup. Then we have bull tail, and campero, it's like a sandwich. Life in Malaga. I just put 3 things that I think are the most important. The siesta is the Spanish nap. After you eat, you take 1 hour siesta. Then we have the coffee time. When you wake up from your siesta, you go with your friends to a restaurant and have some coffee and talk. And then parties. Parties here are so different because here they start so early and end so early. And in Malaga, our weather is so warm. So we can't go out in summer during the day. We die. We have to be inside in our homes. So we go party from 11 p.m. to like 7 a.m. because it's the best hour for be out in the street. It's not that hot. Then this is my family. This is my mom, my little brother, and my dad. And I put here my little cousin too because I think he's so cute. They are my best friends. My hobbies, I just have one hobby and it's horse riding. I love horses. My family has a farm of horses in Spain. This is my horse. His name is Naranjito. It's like orange in English. And that's all. I hope you like it.
Very nice, Marta. This is the part of the Global Gab where we open it up to, in fact, if you click once more, Marta, on the clicker, I think there's a little prompt for what are preguntas y respuestas, ¿qué son? Yes. Oh, you have a question, okay.
Did you really like visiting America?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Did you like visiting America?
Yeah, it was fun, and I learned a lot about staying here.
Right.
I know it's very different, it's a very different cultures, and America is a mix of a lot of cultures. So it's so different because in Spain you just can't find Spanish people, and then you come here you can find Italian, Irish, Brazilian. There's like a lot of cultures here.
This is where I get my steps in.
What was your favorite food over here?
Wait, you ask here or in Spain? Playables.
We have some folks that work at Platypus too, I think. Other questions? Okay.
Are people in America as obese as like most think?
Wait, I can't hear from the...
Are people in America like as obese as most people think? Or fat?
I can hear it.
Are most people fat as like,
I mean, there's everything.
Marta, you're so diplomatic. I see another question. Did I see one down here?
I was gonna ask this question, but now the two other questions were like made it even more funny. But like, what's your opinion on all the fast food restaurants all throughout America?
Which one is my favorite?
Now, just what's your opinion on all the fast food places all across America? Just like how, all of the opinion.
So yeah, part of your opinion could be which is your favorite, and then
I like them. Some of them depends. For example, I prefer McDonald's French fries from here than from Spain. They are better. But I don't know. I like a lot Wendy's. It's one of my favorites too. There's a lot to choose here.
okay, we have some other questions here. You have a question? Okay.
What made you come down to America?
I don't really know. At first, I saw in TikTok, like everyone I think, all the exchange students that were coming here. So I asked my mom, I can go. At first she said no. She said you should go to a closer place like Ireland or England. But I say I want to live the American dream, so I'm here.
How hot does it get in Spain, like in the south?
A lot. We can have like 110 Fahrenheit. It's like a lot. On the day we can't go out of our homes. We have to stay in the swimming pool and inside the house with the air conditioner.
Other questions for Marta? I see one down here. Okay. Okay.
What's your favorite thing to do in America?
Stay with my host family. I really enjoy doing that. I don't know, eat fireballs.
Other questions for Marta? Yeah, another one? Okay.
What's your opinion on Lunchables and Lunch League?
I don't know if Marta knows Lunchables, and I hope she doesn't. In my opinion, is not very high. Have you had it's like a pre-made lunch by Oscar Mayer? Maybe your host brother has them, but I doubt it. It's a pre-made lunch that's quick, but not very quality. It's like a fast food that you can buy in the, I don't think.
I had
We'll
never
show
tried.
Dougie, you'll have to show her what it is later and explain it to her. Okay, we have another question back here. We have time for maybe one or two more.
I got a question. So, did you stay in New Jersey or did you like go somewhere else, like in America?
I used to stay in New Jersey, and some weekends I go to Philadelphia to my host parents' lake house.
Yeah. I think we have time for one more question for Marta. Okay, one more over here.
Do you watch any American sports and like what's your favorite one?
I started doing cheer because in Spain we don't have cheer, so I was so excited to do it. And then I stopped doing exercise, but I have a question here. Here people call American football football and soccer they call soccer. So what's the sense? Because you say football, but you don't use your foot. What's the point of that?
Do we have a football or soccer player that wants to respond to that? Okay. Did you want to respond to that? Okay. It is interesting, right? Well, the foot is used, right, for the goal kicks and the start off, but it is minimal. So it is, language is like that, right? There are times when we get these false friends. We want to think they're one way and then the language tricks us. And that's why Marta, I think we need another round of applause for Marta because her language, not only in her prepared speech, but question and answer is extemporaneous. It's off the cuff. Think about you guys in your languages that you're studying. Could you, off the cuff, back and forth, answer questions like that without knowing what, right? You're like saying no, because that's very hard. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Marta. Okay. All right, moving right along here. Okay, our next part of our program, as you can see, is the French Sister School Exchange. So I'm going to give a little introduction to that. We have some of our travelers here with us today to share their experience. Thank you. So this is actually the second complete exchange, but we've actually hosted our sister school 3 times here. So the first time we were just getting to know each other, and then we did now 2 reciprocal exchanges. And we only had 12 travelers, and we hope to grow that number. So as you're experiencing this and seeing what your peers experience, please take note. Maybe it might plant the seed for you, maybe next year and future years, to join our sister school exchanges. Not if you don't want to travel, I get that, but maybe open your home to one of the students. So I did want to give a shout out to some students and families that did do just that. They weren't unable to travel for one reason or the other, but they still hosted. So they made a connection with these French friends across the world, and now we'll have a friend forever there. So I just want to give a shout out to Tegan DeStefano, Brianna Ribeiro, Colton Cease, and Ava Waldron. So thank you so much. So this is just the beginning portion of this. So what you're going to hear about today is what happened after this. And I hope that you got to experience or meet or chat with in one of your classes one of our sister school students when they were here back in March. I hope you had a chance to maybe say hi and chat with them and ask them questions, because that is part of the experience. It wasn't just for these kids to have this experience, but it was for you as well and our whole school community to get that chance to interact. You know, we have Marta here for 10 months. We have these kids here for a week, but it's still times for us to get these seeds planted and make those connections. So I hope you took advantage of that. So now I'm going to turn it over to our travelers here, and they're going to pass these microphones to each other to add comments to each of these slides. Here they go.
So, to the left, you'll see everybody holding our sign. And that was the first place that we went to for the whole trip. It was Giverny, and it was a beautiful garden with a church. Every flower was really, really pretty. We also also went to these really pretty cliffs, and the water was like really, really blue, way different from New Jersey. And every rock on the beach was also like really, really big. And it was really pretty.
Anyone else want to talk about this slide?
So, where in Giverny, where we went, it was like, so it was called Monet's Garden, the Jardin de Monet, and it's where a lot of the Impressionist artists did their work, and that's essentially just like people who paint their surroundings, and it was, if you went and saw how beautiful and how detailed the garden was, you would understand why they would want to paint it, because it really was very, there was a lot of scenery. And Etretat was also very beautiful. It was very cinematic almost, but you could climb the cliffs and you could see a better view of the town and just the scenery overall.
And if I can add in there, yes, thank you. Cinematic is a good term for that Etretat sound because that, you've probably seen that rock formation in the background in various films. It's shown up in lots of places for its cinematic piece. All right, next slide. That's Sam again. And anyone else who would like to add?
So, over here, this was Omaha Beach, and a lot of this day was dedicated to World War II history. So Omaha Beach was where D-Day, I believe, if I remember correctly, D-Day, the invasion happened there, and this was the way that the Allies tried to take back Nazi-invaded Germany, or sorry, Nazi-invaded France. So to the right of the picture of the sculpture, that is the picture of the cemetery where the fallen soldiers have rested. It's a monument dedicated to them, and when you see the vast amount of graves, you understand how many casualties there were. It was very sad, but also very informative. And the picture where we're all lined up, that was where a Nazi bunker used to be, and seeing that part of history was also quite shocking because you could just see bullet holes, you could understand how difficult it was. And then the woman in the blue shirt, later that day, we ended up going to Camembert, which is where they make cheese. It's very famous French cheese, and it was quite delicious. Also very cinematic, very far out into the country.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone want to add to this slide? Anyone? Okay. Let's move on. Okay, slide 3. This is Eileen and Melody.
Okay, so Mont Saint Michel is basically like a really big island, I guess, on top of sand dunes. And it's an abbey, and there are a lot of like stores and restaurants and stuff.
So while we were there, we got a tour of inside the castle and abbey, which is where like monks live. And did you say that? Okay. And we got lunch in the town, and we were able to tour the town. Mel and I went to a bonbon shop, which is candy, and we had lunch there, and it was really cool because inside it was very olden times. You see Katie and Jennifer there sitting so cutely. But yeah.
Do you want to talk about the tides? Why it was safe during the Crusades?
We were able to walk on the sand over because the tides were out, so you just saw sand and little ponds of water. But when the tide is in, it's hard to be able to get to the abbey because it's an island in a river.
And what was this in the front of, as we were entering the village?
Okay, so that entrance was a drawbridge, and Mont Saint Michel used to be like an army base, like a really, really long time ago. So, yeah.
So it was safe from invasion, not only because of the water, and you also had the cliffs, and then just close the whole town with the drawbridge. And this down here, do you guys remember what film was filmed here?
It's based off like a Star Wars film.
Yeah, the Padawan would go there. It was a place where the monks would go and meditate. Anyone else want to add to Mont Saint Michel? It's one of the 7 UNESCO wonders of the world as well. Yes, thank you. Now, okay, so back to Samantha and anyone else who wants to contribute. Sarah.
Okay, so this was like, we did like a crepe making class basically, and the guy, like, he made the base and all that stuff, but we had to like flip it, and it was actually harder than like I would have expected, honestly. And it's a lot more like, it's like a bigger process and a more difficult process. Like, it takes like a day even to like make the batter and all that stuff.
What was the batter made from?
Buckwheat flour.
Which we found out what special properties. I'm putting them on the spot.
Buckwheat flour is really good for your health, but so the things that were different about these crepes was that we made crepes with salt, like it was savory crepes, and you can make sweet crepes with white flour, which is like the flour that we use for baking and stuff. The buckwheat flour that we used was more savory, more salty, and it's a kind of flour that French people would use to make crepes that you would like eat for dinner. And buckwheat flour is very good for you. It has a lot of good properties for gut health, digestion.
And it's actually not a grain, it's a plant. So if you're gluten-free, you'll have buckwheat flour. All right, thank you. Okay, Natalie.
So, Saint Malo was where we stayed for 2 nights, I think, and it was really pretty. It's basically this guarded city. So there's like these walls that you can walk on, where there's a picture right there. And it was really pretty at sunset because you could see the beach, and there's like, you could see that there's like, there's not a photo here, but there's like a diving board in the water that you could see, which I thought was really cool because like I've never seen a diving board in the ocean. So it was really nice to just walk around at sunset because they gave us free time to go get lunch and walk around in the morning. So it was really nice.
Anyone else want to add to Saint-Malo? I'll add if anyone's a fan of There's All the Light We Cannot See. It's a fabulous book by Anthony Doerr, I highly recommend. But it's also a mini-series on Netflix, and it takes place partly here. Okay, day 4. This is Charlotte and Cathy.
This is from when we were in Versailles, and we went right from Saint-Malo to Versailles, and the palace itself was just like so pretty. One of my favorite parts of the trip, probably. We had a tour guide, and she walked us through, and she told us about the history and like what life was like in the palace. So that was really fun. You went to the gardens, and there was like little ships and little boats, being like a little boat race kind of thing, which was cool. I really liked the art personally, but that was fun.
What about this famous room?
The Hall of Mirrors, yeah.
And what happened there? What treaty was signed?
Oh, the Treaty of Versailles.
Who is this queen?
We're into that.
There she is, with her little dog. There's her room. Anyone else have something to add for the Palais de Versailles? Katie? No?
I can say something.
Okay, go ahead.
So when I was in Paris and I passed by Champs-Élysées, I passed by the original place where the monarchy had stayed in Paris, and that was the Grand Palais et le Petit Palais. And seeing the contrast between the two palaces, so the monarchy moved out of the Grand Palais et le Petit Palais because they wanted to be in a less condensed area that they thought was cleaner and just less urban. And that's why they moved here. And just the amount of wealth was like excessive. It was just insane, and you could understand why there was such a violent overthrow.
Very good. Thank you, Sam. Your history teachers are proud. Okay, day 4 continue. This is Sarah.
Okay, so this is when we got to the school and like met with our exchange students again. It's definitely like the school's like in a different it's definitely different from here. It's more in like a city and it's hard to like get around like even in like a car. So like a lot of people like walk or take the subway or like ride bikes even. I think it's on the next slide. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about, so we couldn't meet in front of the school because there was no space, so talk about that.
Yeah, there was no space next to the school, so they had to meet us like at a different curve. So we didn't see the school until like the next day.
And this is them welcoming us, really special. Morgan.
So our first day of the school it was very shocking to me because their school, there was like 2 different schools, like one for the younger kids and one for the older kids, and their school was like 4 stories, I think, which I found very different because ours is only like 1 and it's pretty small, and their school is like really huge. And also like mainly the way that like people dress, like the first day that I saw there was like very like culture shocking to me because everyone here just like wears like pajamas and everything and hoodies, and they would get like really in trouble if they showed up to school like that. So I found that really interesting.
All right, we'll move on to day 5, 6, and 7. Abby, thank you, Morgan.
So what Morgan said about the dress code is that it's really different. You have to wear proper clothing and it has to be like below a certain level. So a lot of people wore jeans and nice tops. And another thing I noticed is that they like so they don't have fields. They only have a basketball court, and their school, like the timing is really different from here because usually they start around 8 or 9, and then they get a pretty long lunch break. And their lunch break is usually around 2 to 4 hours. And so my student, we went to school around 8 or 9. You would have 1 or 2 classes, a pretty long lunch break, and you would get to leave the school grounds. And since their school was right in the middle of like a little town or city, you can walk around, get food with your friends, and if you have enough time, you can take the train to Paris and shop around and then go back for a few more classes.
That's kind of, oh, thank you, sorry, Abby. That's kind of highlighted in the next couple slides, but that's the lunch. I think you were mentioning that, the 2-hour lunch.
A lot of people sat outside if it was nice out, and it was really, really pretty out. And luckily, the week that we went, it was super nice and hot.
Who wants to talk, Charlotte and Katie, about the bikes?
Oh, so they don't really like drive a lot because they're in a city. So they all ride their bikes to school. So it's kind of funny because like we were comparing this to like the parking lot, basically. Also, inside the classrooms are just really plain, and there's like nothing in them, as you can see in the video. We have a lot more decoration and like a lot more color here.
Anyone want to talk, Sam or Sarah, about the lunch, specifically the cafeteria food?
Yeah,
Quickly.
I can talk a little bit about it. The thing that I regarded that was most differently was that everything was prepared very fresh, and there was a lot more emphasis on actually enjoying your meal and socializing, opposed to here where you just have 30 minutes. You took a 2-hour lunch, you ate with real silverware, and you ate with a real plate. You had a pitcher of water that you shared with everyone at your table, and you were able to just take your time, decompress. And if you didn't want to eat in the cafeteria, you could also go out. Like my host sister and I, almost every single day we went and we got sushi, which was very delicious. But like I was able to really like actually take a break from I was able to take a break from the schoolwork which I was doing, which was much harder than over here, and it helped me focus and finish out my day much stronger.
Awesome, thank you. Morgan, really quickly about these 2 events that they hosted for us.
Yeah, they hosted like a breakfast for us, there was only like juices, coffee, and then like pain au chocolat and croissants that you can have. And it was only like for a few minutes, and then we had to go back to class. And then we also had a potluck, which was like a ton of food that like we don't really eat here. It was more of like a mixture of a ton of cultures, kind of, but mainly French.
Awesome. I'm sorry, I'm speeding up. Melody, you have about 1 minute.
Okay, so our last day of school, we all visited like English classes from like a lot of different grades, and we talked to them and like had them ask us questions. And they weren't really that good in English, which made it kind of difficult.
They weren't that good?
No.
Oh, I thought they were great.
Oh yeah, like the little kids were bad, not like the people who hosted us.
But what was it like doing this activity? Like, how did they react to you? What was...
Oh, they were kind of like weird about it. Well, I don't want to say weird, but... Okay, they always asked us about like guns and stuff. Guns and food were like the big topic.
So there's perception, right? And then there's reality. All right, I'm sorry to speed up here, but we did have the immersion weekend of host families, which is the last 2 days. You can see some of the great things. I will give a shout out here. If you remember Elena, who was here from France last year, so some of our exchange students, Sarah, notably got to meet up with her. So that's, talk about global reach, guys, there it is. And another global reach moment, I'll just say, this is myself, and this is my exchange student when I was a junior in high school. That's Christelle, her husband, and her son. So it still keeps going on. If you plant the seed, Marta, we'll be seeing you in 20 years here too. Once the shore devil, always the shore devil. Sorry to speed up through these. There's a lot to say about this immersion weekend, but we're going to have to end here. That was our departure from France. Obviously very sad, but it's up to you guys, as I said, to stay in touch. So we say thank you. Before you go, please know out in the hallway there is some toast from Spain, some treats from France, and enjoy the last few days of your Memorial Day weekend, and Sharina, thanks for